What is going on, guys? Pal in the shop, and tonight I want to share a smoking deal on a Vortec intake manifold if you're trying to put a budget build together like we're going to do here with our L31. Let's check it out. If you see my last video, I posted about building a really budget build for an L31 with Vortec heads using as many stock components as possible. This is obviously a fuel injected motor, so we have to convert it to a carbureted intake manifold. Right now, with the availability and prices of intake manifolds, it is a little scary when you see the prices of things, and that's why when I said I was going to do this, I was going to let you guys know every part number that I'm using and tell you guys about deals as they come. This particular manifold is from Competition Products, and for the record, I'm not sponsored by Competition Products, but if you guys want to start sponsoring my channel, that would be awesome. Competition Products, if you're not familiar with those guys, they have awesome valve train parts. I ordered my Howard's custom cams through them, but this deal on the intake manifold caught my eye. So this intake is very similar to an Edelbrock 7116 manifold. So it's not the lowest Vortec intake manifold, it's the next up. Very similar height. So the back height here is about 5.12 inches, 125 inches, sorry, and the front is about 4.2 inches. So fairly low, will fit under almost most hoods, even probably some Corvette hoods depending on your cowl or your carburetor and air filter setup. Quite well for an offshore intake. Machining's good. The casting is actually pretty good. A lot of these Chinese intakes, the casting is really rough, but as you can see, it's actually pretty good looking. Underneath here, you can see I did flow test it. It had an average flow test, and you can take that as you will. I just flow tested it intakes open from the plenum up. It just gives me an idea of what their balance like, what their flow like, especially a dual plane intake. This had an average flow of 247, which is actually quite good for an intake manifold of this height. And all the intake ports, the best to the worst flowing one was within 7%. So that is actually quite well, and you can fix some of that with some porting, but they do have some room for improvement. But that being said, even without touching this manifold, it actually flows quite well. Like I said, 247 average, within 7% from the worst to the best. So overall, I'm very, very impressed with this, especially at the price point. And let me get into that a little deeper. I'll show you. As I'm filming this manifold right now, the current price is $169.95, I believe, on their website. But here's what makes it actually a really good deal. So you can get the manifold package, which is $206.95 right now, so 207 bucks. You get your intake manifold. They throw in a tube of silicone for your end rails. They throw in a carb stud mounting kit, a carb gasket, a set of intake gaskets, which look just like Felpro 1255s. And look at this, a set of ARP 12-point intake bolts for your Vortec. That right there is about $29 right there. So you get all that, and it's roughly $37 more than just the manifold. That's why I was so impressed with this deal. You can't beat that. So you get all this for 207 bucks ready to install in the engine. So we are going to be using this on our Vortec build, so we'll be able to see the dyno results. I'm probably going to do a little bit of cleanup on the ports, and I might reflow test it. It probably won't make much of a difference, but we will be able to see the final results. The RPM range for this intake is 1,000 to 6,000, I believe. It could be 1,500 to 6,000, but the peak is about 6,000, and that's about right with an intake manifold of this height on a dual plane. But it should be perfect for what we're trying to pull off with our Vortec build here. Because I'm trying to build the best engine, power per dollar spent that we can get out of this thing. And I think, I think we're going to end up with a pretty decent engine. Wait till you see the deal and the cam I got for this thing, which is a video coming up. If you guys are wondering what cam I'm using in this thing, I think it's going to be quite a decent engine. And what's going to be neat is we're going to actually have a few different levels of Vortec engines coming up. This being the cheapest engine, and we'll see for power for dollar per horsepower. This might end up being, this might take the cake. We'll have to see. But if you're new to the channel, thanks for coming by and checking out my videos. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please feel free to do so. And don't forget to hit that like button. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.